Okay, we still have a couple minutes, so I'm going to try to let everybody get in before we get started. I spare you guys the beep. I'm the only one that gets to hear the people entering the waiting room, so it doesn't drive everybody crazy and distract you. Jane, I'm trying to figure out what's in the background. Hi, Jane. Jane Todd.
Hi.
What's the ladder in your background?
It's a shelf.
Oh, it's so cute. Are you hanging the shelf, or that's what it actually is displayed on?
I don't know how to answer that. It's just a shelf. It's got my printer.
Oh, how cool.
Files.
Very creative.
Well, you know how cool I am, so.
You are. You're the coolest and the most creative, so I like that a lot. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just really curious.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm going to put you back on mute again, and I'm letting in some last minute people here, and then we're going to get started. Okay, guys, well, we're going to get started with our meet and greet, and we are so excited. We have some of our board here. There's Jeanette, and we have a couple other board members that are going to probably jump in here at the last minute, and we have a couple people from To Engage that might jump in as well. We kind of wanted to include some different community people that might not have had the opportunity to meet Leanne yet. But all of you guys know that we began the search for our new executive director in January, and COVID kind of put everything behind schedule a little bit, but that ended up being a blessing because during that time of COVID, Leanne was doing our audit, and I'll let her tell you a little bit about that. But our advocates hear us talking about quality assurance, and they hear us talking about audits a lot. It's a real deal, and Leanne is the one that really does our audits for us. And so it brought her back to being an executive director, and I'll let her tell you that story in just a second. But as a get to know you type thing, I am launching a poll, and I want you to vote on what you feel that Leanne's best friend was. Was it her yellow lab? Was it her cat, her show pig, or her horse? And then what was that best friend's name? Sam, Mr. Mauser, Inky Oink, or Beep Beep? So this is your opportunity to kind of see how well you think you can read Leanne. She's up in the corner. Wave, Leanne, so they can see you. And you guys vote on what you think her best friend was and what that friend's name is. So we have half of you responded. A couple people might be on phones, but the people that are here will get to participate. Those that come later are going to miss out on the fun. So I'm going to give you just a second here to finish. We need 3 more to respond. Eddie's just now coming in. Eddie, we're taking a poll if you want to join in real quick. Okay, so I'm going to give it 15 more seconds here, and then we are closing it out so that we can move on. I love it though, Leanne. Look, everyone thinks the name is Mr. Mauser. That's interesting. Oh, you haven't seen it yet. I've got to end it before you can see it. So hold on just a second. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share the results. Okay, so can y'all see those?
Yes.
So 54% think it's the horse, 23% think it was your show pig, 15 the cat, and only 1 person picked the lab. I'm really kind of disappointed with that response because personally the lab is my favorite. And so then, but the name that won by the majority was Mr. Mauser. And then it looks like it was a tie for Sam and Beep Beep. And no one really went for Inky Oink. So Leanne, tell us, who was your best friend and what their name was?
My racehorse, Beep Beep.
Racehorse Beep Beep. So I'm going to share a picture with you real quick so that you can see Leanne with her horse. Can everyone see that? There's Beep Beep. So that's a great picture, and you're just a baby there, Leanne.
Yeah, 15 or 16. That was the front page of the Athens Daily Review.
Okay, well, I'm going to stop sharing that so we can go back and see Leanne. So Leanne came to us July the 15th is when she actually started. It was her kickoff date. And as you read in the information, she came with an extensive history in child welfare. She started with CPS and was there, I think, 4 years or 6 years.
8.
Oh, 8, that's right, sorry. And then she went to be an executive director, which she did for 18 years, and then was with Texas Casa the last 4 years. So Leanne, we are so thrilled to have you on our Casa family here in Abilene, and I'm just going to hand it over to you and let you talk a little bit, and then I will come in with some questions for you. And guys, if you have specific questions for Leanne, put them in the chat box, and she'll be happy to address those and let you get to know her a little bit. So Leanne, it's yours.
Well, thank you, Rebel. You know, several times I have heard the statement that I'm a blessing to this program, but I have to tell you, I feel like this is the utmost blessing to me. Coming here, yes, I did the quality assurance review 3 years ago because that's how often reviews are done unless there's issues. So obviously there weren't any issues here in Abilene. So I came back 3 years later, and I certainly didn't see this coming. I was happy working from home, even before the pandemic. But, you know, God prompts us. And I promised him the last time he prompted me that I would respond more quickly the next time, which was this time, than I had in the past. You know, that still small voice is what we need to listen for. That's not what I did the time before. He caused my knees to buckle. And I was like, oh, you want me to leave my program and work for Texas Casa? So it's really awesome how God works. And learning to listen to that still small voice is what resonates here with me being in Abilene. It was a pretty neat process because Roger and I have been married 35 years, and we have a son who's 31 that lives in Tyler. We were living about, 30 miles outside of Tyler. And then we also have a daughter, Emily, that was finishing up nursing school at UT Tyler, and she's married to her husband, of course, John. So when we mentioned to the two of them that we were thinking about moving to Abilene, Emily immediately said, well, Mom, we were thinking about moving too, but didn't want to move away from you. So to make a long story short, she applied here at Hendricks Hospital, was interviewed on a Tuesday and had her choice of 4 positions on Friday, either day or night. So she actually started to work here a month before me. She's one of those kids that you need to just get out of her way. So she came here June 15th. I didn't get here to July the 15th. It's been phenomenal. My husband will come later whenever he sells the house and finishes his commitment with the school district there where he's the transportation director. COVID has a lot of implications for our life. So unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, he wants to stay there with the school district until school starts, and he makes sure that all of his little kids getting on the buses are taken care of, and his drivers, and deciding whether or not they're going to socially distance on a bus. So it'll all work out. My faith's in God. He's got it all under control. So I threaten Roger that he has to sell the house before he comes, but honestly, he can come, and real estate agents can handle that. So I haven't told him that yet because I want to just, keep it going. There's, things that will help sell the house, like mowing the yard weekly, cleaning the pool, making sure my red bone hound doesn't destroy anything else, because last summer he totally destroyed 2 swimming pool pumps with them plugged in and running. Yeah, just to mention a few things. I mean, that dog loves pulling the big metal dolly or the refrigerator mover across the yard. So, there's issues to work on there. So it's been great. I love it here. When I was doing the quality assurance review, your program is off the charts. I'm amazed. It's stellar advocacy. It's stellar board development, board management, staff. Once again, stellar. And what really amazed me is in the 5 years since Big Country Casa has moved out from underneath the umbrella, there has been a 668% increase in the number of children being advocated for. In the same 5 years, a 68% increase in the number of children coming into care. So that's phenomenal growth. That's why Big Country Casa is recognized in the state as the fastest growing program. We're a favorite at Texas Casa. And that is based on 7 years of hard work, 2 while under the umbrella at RVCC, and then the 5 years as, its own nonprofit. So kudos to you all. I am the one who feels blessed in the fact that you let me come and be a part of your team. I hope I don't hold you back, pull you down. So it's all wonderful. When I started to work at CPS, I honestly, I was 20, I guess maybe around 24. Yeah, 24 or 25. I graduated from college on a Friday with my second bachelor's degree, and I went to work for CPS that following Monday. I didn't know widows and orphans was my calling. It took me, excuse me, the near 8 years at CPS and probably about 4 or 5 at CASA of Trinity Valley in Athens before I realized widows and orphans. It's like, oh Christ, I understand now. I'm a little slow, but widows and orphans. And I will tell you, there are just so many things that he has done in my career. Volunteers in Athens, which was a 3-county program, they would laugh and say, well, Leanne has her 2-week rule. And my 2-week rule was that if there were issues on a case and things were getting intense, and the volunteer might be concerned about going to court for the termination hearing, or dad getting out of jail and having the right to have the child returned, those kinds of crisis things that we would see. My 2-week rule means that within 2 weeks prior to that hearing, something's going to happen. Okay. It may be that dad getting out of prison relinquishes so the child can be adopted. It may be that the argument with CPS about placement is resolved the way we felt it should be. So that's my rule. 2 weeks usually before that intense hearing, that drop dead date, something happens. God has it all under control. Okay. One other thing, when I came here, Courtney Brown with the TV station did an interview, and she asked me, well, what are you going to change? And I always have a lot of words. I didn't have any for her. It's like, what am I going to change? What do you change about a stellar program, that's off the charts, that's passionate advocates, phenomenal supporters? What do you change? So I'm just trying to keep up with all of you. I guess one of the things that we're talking about adding to staff is the collaborative family engagement worker who works on looking at cases and trying to find support systems for children who don't have it, whether that be family, kinship, or other people that can stand in the gap for our kids. There's a lot to it. If you're interested, there's a video on Texas Casas website, and you can just search Collaborative Family Engagement or CFE. It's a cartoon video, and it'll give you information about the CFE approach in the program. So that's pretty much just a snapshot of me and what's on my mind here. We've got a lot going on, but all of it is meant to enhance what we're already doing in advocating for children, making sure their needs are met and that they're out of the foster care system as quickly as possible.
So Leanne, tell us something fun about yourself that might just is kind of unique or something different.
You know, I told you earlier, as I was zipping through my pictures to find that one of me and Beep Beep, was that I have kissed the Blarney Stone in Ireland. You know, it took me, you know, flying to Ireland to realize that the Blarney Stone was actually in the Bible as Jacob's pillow. And honestly, I'm gonna tell you, I said I kissed the Blarney Stone, but that thing's about 4 foot down the top of that castle. And I'm not the 5 foot tall, okay? So we just kissed at where they said it was the Blarney Stone, and there was 2 soldier, you know, guards that kind of held on to you while you leaned out backwards over the side of the castle to kiss the Blarney Stone.
So Leanne just said it. She's not very tall. She's 5 foot tall. So on the computer, every time we do our audits and everything else, she just looks, you know,
normal.
Well, she's a little thing. She's a little bitty thing. So we have Jeanette, our board president, on here, and Shanna Keeble, our vice president, are both on here. Jeanette and Shanna, is there anything you guys would like to say or anything about Leanne that you would like our group to know?
Well, Leanne's hit the ground running, that's for sure. That yeah, she's going to be a huge asset to our program. So this is so win-win. Feels blessed coming to us. We sure feel blessed to have found her, and that she was willing to move to Abilene and join our program. So yeah, she's hitting the ground running. She knows her stuff. It's awesome. There is no learning curve, which is awesome. Casa is pretty unique. It's a pretty unique organization. So finding an ED that has no learning curve is amazing. That she's already got, she says change nothing, but she's got great ideas, just some ways that she's restructured some of our strategic goals as a board to help us track those and keep up with them. And so this is going to be really, really, really good. So I'm very, very excited. But any chance I get to say thank you to you guys as volunteers. You guys are the backbone. I mean, we can organize it all we want, but if the volunteers aren't doing it, it's useless. You guys are the backbone, and just thank you guys. And for your patience, this last year's, you know, had a lot of changes. So just thank you for your patience, but we're really excited that the direction we're going right now.
Thank you, Jeanette. Shanna?
You know, everything Jeanette said is true and accurate, and I can add that Leanne and her family are sweet and precious, and I think that we are so blessed to have her. And I think the difference in maybe what we've, you know, Angela did a great job, and I don't think you're going to see a team of volunteers and a team of advocates and a team of donors and a team of staff. It is one team, one goal, one mission, and I think you have to have somebody who is equipped and knowledgeable and has the ability to lead that. And I think we're in good hands, and I think the future of CASA is safe and secure, and we're definitely going the right direction. So kudos to everybody that did that and made that come together, and love her. Awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
Shanna.
you. Thank you.
So one of the things Jeanette hit on and Shanna referenced to is that really the volunteers are the backbone. And, you know, you hear a lot of agencies talk about that, but what's unique about a CASA program in general is that it must be volunteer based. It has to be, the majority of the work has to be done by volunteers. So when you hear us talk about appreciating you, and you know, I was a volunteer for the first 4 years of the program before I came on staff, and I didn't fully understand the significance of the volunteers' role until I came on staff. And then I realized, oh my gosh, we cannot do what we do without volunteers. So when you hear them say thank you and you hear us say thank you, it really is that we could not operate without volunteers. We would have to shut down because you have to be run, you know, the cases have to be carried out by volunteers. So we do appreciate you. And we have an incredible board. The support that you guys have that you don't even know is amazing. How they not only support us as a staff or a program, but they're constantly thinking about how they can support you, the volunteers. So we appreciate our board, their leadership and their direction. It's invaluable, and we have the best that there is, no doubt. We really do. So Leanne, what else would you like to share about your vision or your goals or anything that's on your heart?
Well, you know, I think probably the biggest change here is not anything that I'm implementing, it's community-based care, and how the rollout through the state legislature has mandated that, and the different things that are, you know, on the horizon for us with To Engage. Today, Jeanette and I met again with the executive vice president for To Engage for Region 2 here. We've met with them as staff, and we've also met with To Engage as a region of CASA executive directors. So they may feel meetinged to death, but for me as a leader, I want us to set the bar, not only in the region as a CASA program, but with To Engage in what we require in meeting the needs of children and the level of advocacy you as volunteers and the staff provide. We're going to set the bar and we're going to maintain it. So that change is not CASA driven. It's just part of the landscape that we're looking at here in Region 2. I have to tell you that, you know, I come from East Texas, and I forecasted a number of years ago, East Texas would be the last part of Texas to be involved in the community-based care. So I am excited to be here in a region that's proactive, that's innovative, that targets children's needs and solutions to get those needs met and change the trajectory for our children's lives. So this is incredible stuff. Like I said, we're going to set the bar.
Some of the things that Linda Garcia just said in the meeting we just had are really exciting about the changes they're going to make, and that they hear us. I feel like they're hearing us. The complaints we've been making for years, they hear us and they're fixing some things. So.
Well, and I shared this at staff meeting yesterday, or I think I shared it at staff meeting, but or Tuesday, was that To Engage, you know, they just had their second group of caseworkers trained, and that finished up on July the 31st. And the 2 trainings they've had, they've invited me to present and to speak, and they pretty much just give me carte blanche. You have as much, you know, you have an hour to hour and a half, take as much time as you need. And at the end of the second training, the one on the 31st, Connie Davis did something that she had not done in the first training, and that was to speak up to her trainees and say, listen, you need to make your CASA worker your best friend. You need to communicate with them. You need to have a great relationship with them. I know, Jeanette, it was amazing. She said they know what they're talking about. They're going to know these kids well. They are a fabulous resource for you. So please connect with your CASA worker. And if you need one, request one. And so we've never had that happen so far with them. And so that was an amazing step already. And so we're really excited about this community-based care and that relationship we have with them. So I was really excited to have her just offer to say that to these new workers. So hopefully those relationships are going to continue to strengthen and deepen. So Leanne, anything else to add? Or guys, if you have any questions for Leanne, put them in the chat box or raise your hand on your little emoji and we'll get to you.
One thing that you brought up was, you know, the community, to engage's response to you during training. And I think that is definitely a sign of Rebel, your engagement with them and your ability to train and relate to others, your knowledge of CASA. The one thing that I do want to kind of let you know as a group of volunteers is during the conversation that we as regional executive directors at CASA had with To Engage, Linda made mention of an attorney that they have hired that's on staff. And she wanted to encourage us as CASA volunteers to call that attorney in case there were issues on a case before it went to court, and to really work with them to work it out and use their attorney to represent us in court. Can I just say, just right straight up, we're just not going to do that. There were issues that have come up not only in some of our cases here where To Engage did not comply with the court's orders, and those things have happened across Region 2, where things have not gone well for To Engage in court. For us to call their attorney for advice, I told staff it would be kind of like if you were going through a divorce and you sought the advice of your spouse's attorney who was paying the attorney to represent them in court. That's just not something we need to be involved in. To Engage is going to have to develop their own, support within the court to be sure that they have their own standing. It's not healthy for us to blur those boundaries. To Engage is doing a good job. They have a mammoth, an absolute mammoth of an undertaking in being sure that the children here are taken care of. They have limited staff, but you know, we've got more volunteers probably than what they do staff. So we've all got to work together, but just be conscious of our boundaries to be sure that we don't overstep or expect something that To Engage can't deliver. Okay. That's why we have judges to make decisions for us. It's not win-win about us. It's about what the child needs and keeping that first and foremost. So we will always stay in our lane, work with To Engage, because I mean, I always told my staff in Athens that we have to wear the shirt that says plays well with others.
I like that.
And we will do that. And we will work out any issues that we can prior to court. Absolutely, prior to any meetings at CPS. But it's okay sometimes to just disagree. So we'll stay in our lane. We'll seek the court's advice if needed. But we will maintain the focus on what's the best interest of the children without compromise, with that integrity and intensity to be sure that those children's needs are met. Right? Okay.
Well, I think y'all can see why we're excited to have Leanne here. She does have such a wealth of experience and knowledge. So Jeanette, Shanna, anything else y'all would like to add? Y'all have any questions at all? No one's popped their hand up or put anything in the chat box. If not, welcome Leanne. Everyone give her a high five and a wave and whatever. And we would love to see you guys as you feel comfortable coming up you know, whenever some of you need to come up, pick up door prize, or you need to come up for your case review or whatever, don't hesitate to stop by and knock on the door and see if she's available to say hi. She's very welcoming and would love to get to know all of you, and you'll have plenty of opportunities over the next few months. So unless there's anything else, that is the end of our meet and greet. And we appreciate you guys all coming on to say hi.
And we're a minute early.
And we're a minute early. See, I watched the clock. All right, guys. Thank you. Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you.
Shanna.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Shanna. Thank you, guys.